Happy New Year, y'all. One night, a great warrior who lived in Corinth, Greece, prayed to the god Hephaestus to provide him with this broadsword made of the strongest steel. He sought counsel from the oracle of Delphi, and what she uncovered was a mystery. As usual, the spirit was indirect and esoteric, but what was clear was that a sacrifice must be made in order to initiate the will of the gods. He knew of a noble young lady who recently had a baby and paid her a visit. He scooped the child up in one arm and took off. A pyre was lit in honor of this sacrifice to Mount Olympus. Then he cut the baby's throat. He drank the blood to smear the rest on himself. He muttered a silent prayer, then was teleported to the underworld. Rebellious, hell-raising spirits entered his body and lit his eyes up bloody red. When he returned telepathically, the sword that he asked for was in his hands. And shiny silver alone could blind the hell out of his opponent, a true tactical thing of beauty. He prostrated and prayed to Ares for strength. He thanked Hephaestus and went on his merry way to battle for whichever lord would pay him handsomely. Well, they sacked villages and killed innocent townspeople. The spoils of war aplenty, and hostages were taken as prisoners and sold into slavery. Advancing along the lands, they came by a sea they had to cross. Once sailing, they encountered a tall, nine-headed hydra with hips. The warrior got to thinking, man, if she wasn't so ugly, I'd hit it. It's just a water nymph that went all the way wrong, isn't it? Then he slashed upwards, cut one of the heads off, but it grew back. Hercules taught us, you've got to burn him at the neck. He defeated it almost by himself, but several crew members came in to help. Once on land, they made their way easily into the city. They were met by soldiers, city guards, and armed civilians. They persevered until the warrior committed the ultimate sin. He killed his own kids who were visiting his in-laws. His wife shouted bloody murder in the street and spit on him. He cowered and ran away screaming. The war paint on his face smeared as he attempted to put his own sword between his ears. His tears ran cold as he tried to end his life, but then he was met by Poseidon, the only titan that could stand on his own 2 feet in the middle of the Aegean Sea. He said to the warrior, you cannot go out this way. You've risen to an immaculate status, and if you should cut yourself, you'll only be reincarnated. You are a god of war. He replied, but I just won't sleep. I no longer wish to kill for a living. I've been at war for many years. I'm tired and I work to no ending. Well, Poseidon replied, Athena isn't too keen on you, but she sees how useful you can be. Fulfill your duties and question no further. He turned away and waged war for several more years until one night grew colder, around the time that Persephone returned to her household in the underworld. He vowed to go down there as well and proposed another bargain once again. Hermes came to him, told him that he'd take him there personally. Wings on his helmet and his feet, he brought him in to see Hades and speak. He saw Perseus riding Pegasus, waving Medusa's severed head in the air. Eros shot his arrows at the souls in purgatory to conjure the feeling of love amongst the dead for a thrill. The warrior dragged himself along with his broadsword to the Dark Lord's throne and said, I need to rest, Lord Hades. I beseech you for eternal sleep. Hades replied, take a nap. Now the underworld can only trap the living if we ingest the food or drink, or we die while inside like by Cerberus or some shit. The warrior went for the exit of the castle, but Hades called out to ask him, why not try some of the cuisine? It's to die for. The warrior sighed and simply replied, I don't eat.